TFF, too fucking fast.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what the police
Yeah.
say. It does to a degree, because I'd never had a bitch before.
Bitches.
Bitches with other bitches.
Much fur on her.
No, we weren't.
Not much fur on her.
No. And he also was at another scene where I think they might have been on a motorbike, and they basically sort of needed a broom and a shovel because there was a lot of.
Oh,
It was a bit, yeah,
messy.
Yeah.
Very weird. Very weird, isn't it? Hello, gorgeous. How are you? How are you, darling? You okay? It's like a little sheep.
Sorry?
Like a little sheep.
Yeah, she's a Bedlington Terrier mixed with a Whippet.
Not much fur on her.
No, I do cut it,
Okay.
but it grows out, and it never grows to much. What they actually say about Bedlington Terriers is they're a wolf in a sheep's clothing, because they do look like a lamb, and they usually have like
I said she's like a sheep, didn't I?
Yeah, and that's what they say about Bedlington Terriers. They look like a sheep. When you see a full Bedlington, and they sort of do like a pom-pom, and they do a bit on their ears, but the mixture she is what they use for, she's a lurcher basically. They call that mix a lurcher, and they go chasing bunnies, because Bedlingtons I think are supposed to be ratters, because all terriers are basically dogs to do a specific thing or to go underground. Various ones,
Yeah.
Some of the terriers are up and some are digging out. Yeah, but she's mixed with a Whippet, so you've got the quickness of the Whippet, which tend to be a bit fragile, so they put something a bit more
sturdy,
substantial in with it. But the mix she is very much for chasing, very much going out across the fields. And
but she's not a working dog, or?
She was going to be.
Really?
Yeah, the people who had her, they had a
farm.
No, I went to Stoke-on-Trent.
Oh yeah.
They lived in Stoke-on-Trent, and they had a really big garden with a massive
Lots of
drive.
rats there then.
And they
in the
used to go
city.
around the
In the
fields,
city.
sort of out a bit.
Oh yeah.
But they used to go out around the fields rabbiting basically. And one of the things they do, it's not something I hold to, but you don't tell people that when you run the dog. They go out and they sort of do what they call lamping, and they put a lamp, and the rabbits if you go out in the dark and you have a lamp, the rabbits see the light and freeze, and then they set the dogs on them. And then obviously they set the dogs on with the intention the dog grabs them. They give them a bloody shake, and that's the rabbit dead. But then they quite often people eat them, or they perhaps feed them to the dog. I don't really know.
You don't really know. You don't want to know.
No, I don't want to know, to be honest. I'm vegetarian.
My partner was there.
But no, like I said, she was going to be a working dog, and she lived in a kennel. And when she was 15 months old, just get my ball, when they decided, because when they used to go across the fields before they'd actually started training her to do it, they'd go across the fields, her and her mum, because they kept her, and she and her mum would have a set to. It was like dominance. And
she'd fight with her mum?
She and her mum would fight, yeah.
Why?
Who was going to be in charge? With dogs, it's a pecking order.
But I thought it's men that fight, no? Male dogs.
I'm 69, and I've had dogs, quite a few dogs, and I didn't realise that apparently girl dogs are worse for that.
Bitches
with other bitches, especially a relative, like mother or sister. Apparently they are worse.
I did not know that.
No, I didn't.
Not like humans.
No, like I said, well,
unless you're at work.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
different.
not being funny, women can. I think women can be worse than men.
What,
I
with,
mean,
with
I think
bitching or bullying or what?
Well, how can I put it? With men, it's different. Because I've got a son and I've got a daughter.
Yeah.
My son's nearly 43, my daughter's 41.
Oh, yeah.
But boys, I think, and men,
Yeah.
you know, I know you shouldn't generalise,
Yeah,
but
no,
I
I
feel
know.
that men will have a fallout and they're face to face and a punch up and then it's over. Women seem to be behind your back.
Sizzling, chatting.
Yeah, and more nasty and more psychologically nasty. Although there are men that are like, but I think with boys they'll have a fallout and then biffed off biff, and I don't know, it's very difficult to say, but women can be quite. But yeah, with dogs, if you've got the mother and you keep the bitch, sometimes you can have problems. And a friend had that. She had a mother and a bitch, red setters I think they were, or something like that. And she had them for years. Then just one day they went for each other.
No.
Oh yeah, she said it was awful.
Blood.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, blood and fur everywhere. It was really awful, and they're biggish dogs.
Oh my God.
Anyway, she said that day, the older one, the mother, she took, and her mum had it, and she kept the younger one. And this is a friend of mine who's had dogs for years, and she generally often has 2 dogs, but yeah. And she said it to me, because when I said that's how come I got her, because I got her at 15 months. But she's been spayed.
Does that change the behaviour?
It does to a degree, because I'd never had a bitch before. I've
Yeah.
always had dogs.
Yeah.
And when bitches are in season, they do seem a little bit more tetchy, shall we say. A bit like
Okay.
women can be.
Okay.
And so she'd had a season.
I like PMT type thing.
Yeah, sort of, yeah, similar sort of thing. Well, when she'd been with the other people, she'd had a season. Then I got her at 15 months.
Yeah.
And then after whatever time, because they have 2 seasons, I think, a year. So
Yeah.
she then had a season, and you could see she was different. So I made that decision. I didn't want to breed from her. I've never wanted to be involved in breeding.
No,
dogs.
you haven't.
No, never wanted to.
Too much hassle.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't want to part with them. If she'd had a litter of puppies, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I know people do it to get money, but it's
Yeah.
like not everything's about money. I'd like, are they going to look after my dog?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want them to have that puppy. They might not be nice.
I was talking
It's
to
like giving away your children.
I was talking to a breeder the other day, and he's well known. He's a bit boisterous, and he would actually go round the person's house. I want my dog back. I want the dog back. I'm coming to get it. He would go in
Be
there,
that forceful, yeah.
and he would take the dog back. I want my money back. You're not having your money back. You know, he would if they're signs of mistreating,
He was,
if they're
yeah.
posting pictures of it,
Yeah.
not getting the vaccinations,
No.
then
Well, when I went for her, there's a lot of people that like lurchers. We won't say the people they are,
all right.
but they live in caravans a lot
Oh
of the time.
yeah, I know you
with
mean.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they tend to go for them.
So-
And they're not renowned for looking
Are,
after their dogs. too
are
much.
they Irish gypsies, or are they proper gypsies like from Romany,
I think
or are they
got the-
Irish travellers?
Yeah, I think you get. I think
Or
the
they- or
Romany,
they-
the genuine ones, are a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
But the travellers that you sort
The
of get,
Irish travellers.
Yeah, because there's a site
But that
just up that way.
oh, is there?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a traveller site. If you go up the road there,
Oh right.
yeah, just before you get to the golf club, which is on one side, they're on the other side. And I'm not joking, but the police won't go in there on
No?
their own.
Oh, really?
You won't get one police car, just go in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, the
no.
police
They're
are a bit
scared.
scared.
Of them.
Yeah, I think
they
these
are.
days, not like the old police maybe,
No.
but
Oh no, they're scared to do anything these days.
yeah. Oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
scary.
The younger ones coming in are probably eight. They look like they're 13. The ones that come in.
Well, I'm not a big woman.
No.
I'm only small.
Yeah.
But I saw a policewoman one day.
Yeah.
And she was no bigger than me. And I thought, well, no one's gonna. Yobs aren't gonna take any notice
Right,
of you.
yeah.
You haven't got any.
Take it seriously.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, if she had a gun in it on her hip, might make a difference. It's like, do as you're told, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
But then again, they can't do that either. They can't just.
Unless they're armed police, they
Yeah,
can't, can they?
they
Really?
can't, no.
Yeah. You get
So-
some small armed police ladies, yeah, but
no.
not on the beat. They
I
wouldn't
mean,
carry
I
bun.
think police, because my son actually was in the police for a
Oh
while.
yeah.
He doesn't take after me.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
well, he's 6'1".
Oh,
So
right.
My ex-husband was 6 foot. So my son's 6'1".
Yeah.
He was in the police.
Yeah.
And he quite liked. I mean, this is a long while ago.
Yeah.
But what he didn't like, because obviously when you start, he said most of it he felt like a social worker. He said all
Yeah.
you're doing is going round. Oh, she's had a go at me, and
Yeah,
she slept with my boyfriend, and I'm gonna, and it's like, he said it was like being a part of EastEnders. You know, he didn't like
He
that
wanted more
aspect
action.
of
He
it.
should join the military, maybe.
Yeah, well, he's an engineer.
Now
That's
he's
what he
an
does now.
engineer.
Yeah. But no, and he's looking to do other things. But the thing is,
Yeah.
he's got a little boy now.
Ah.
But yeah, he did that. Well, he was engineering, and
Yeah.
then he stopped and decided to go in. Well, he was doing an apprentice,
Yeah.
and then he went into the police, and then because he wanted to be, going out catching criminals.
Yeah, of
and,
course. Who wouldn't?
I mean, in some aspects. I mean, he went to some nasty accidents, which he told me about.
What? Oh yes, road
which-
traffic.
Yeah, he said there was one, he said, which was quite, well, it was
Gruesome.
nasty, but it was one brother
Yeah.
had gone to pick up the other brother before Christmas from uni.
Oh yeah.
They're coming down a road,
Yeah.
going too fast.
Two brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TFF, too fucking fast.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what the police
Yeah.
say, TFF.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
what the accident was, TFF. That's the expression they use. Lost control of the car, no other cars involved.
Oh right.
The one driving lived, the one in the passenger died. So the one brother driving too fast killed his younger brother coming up to Christmas. And my son said that brother's got to live with that. And that's an awful thing. And he also was at another scene where I think they might have been on a motorbike, and they basically sort of needed a broom and a shovel because there was a lot of
Oh,
was a bit
messy.
Yeah, quite messy. And then he said he went to one where there was an old boy died, and this old boy had died in his conservatory.
Right.
And Nigel said it was a hot day. He said when you went in, because they've been told no one's seen him, so they break in. And he said as you got in, you could see the old boy sort of sat there. I mean, if it's a hot day, I think people start to compose fairly quickly.
Decompose, yeah.
So I don't know. So he's seen a few things, and I think, if I'm honest, it toughened him up a bit.
Did it?
But he didn't like the aspect of the,
Social work a bit.
Yeah, and you've obviously got to go through an awful lot of that before you then get promotion elsewhere. And I think he just didn't like that aspect. And one of the things he did say as well is, he said, so many things never get to court because of they don't tick all the boxes. Because if there's any way that the lawyers from, the bad guys can find a flaw, doesn't matter how small it is,
Wow.
if you haven't got all your thing, it gets thrown out. And he said they can go to so much bother. He said there was one instance, and one of the key things was some keys, right? And they were in the car, and the person had the keys, and these were part of the evidence. And they ended up, the door was open, they threw the keys out the window.
Who threw the keys out?
Well, the person that was naughty, they shouldn't have had the keys, they should have got them off them. But somehow or another, Nigel said, and because of that, these keys got
The case got chucked.
Yeah.
Because
it's like
the guilt.
they cannot, they've got to have enough evidence to prosecute. And if there's not enough, they get away with it. And it does happen, and Nigel said it's quite disgusting how much people get away with.
Yeah.
But he said he didn't like all that aspect of it, and so.
But you said it toughened him up a bit.
I think it when you go into an accident,
Of course it would,
an accident and things like that, and I suppose some of the older police were a bit more, not hard, but
Draconian.
Yeah.
Oh, tough, bullied.
Yeah.
Slightly
I don't
bullied.
think he was bullied, but like I said, because it's not that he's
Pushing him around a bit.
No, he didn't get pushed about. But one thing it did do, it made him very good with facts, because obviously you're writing everything down. And a friend of mine, because I'd actually gone in hospital to have some procedure done.
Yeah.
And this friend of mine, an older lady, had phoned up to see. And of course Nigel told her exactly and precisely, and she was very impressed. And that obviously come from when he was in the police, because you have to get your facts.
Yeah.
So he's like,
How interesting is that?
Yeah, but as I say, it's a funny old thing. But yeah. I mean, going back to the thing with the dog and the fact that the travellers, and when these people, they put the advert because they wanted to rehome her, because they knew it wasn't going to resolve itself, because she was 15 months, and it's like every time they went across the fields, the two of them were having a go. One of them would have ended up hurt. Well, her mum was the whippet, so she was bigger. So they said, when I saw the ad, and I phoned them up and I said, have you still got the dog? And they said yes, and I said where I was, and I'd lost my other dog, Basil.
Oh, yeah.
He was 14, and
Oh.
not lost, you know.
I know what you mean.
Not lost. Anyway, so they said, asked me about this and that, and they said, well, we've got her, and you can come and see her. But he said, if we don't think you're right, you won't get her.
Ooh.
He said, we've had lots of people come, but if, you know, we don't, okay. A 2-hour drive to there. So I went with my sister.
Wow.
Got there. They had a private drive. Their house was off the road, and the driveway was, it was like from sort of the end there, at least down there.
No.
So they had like, and they had a massive big bungalow. It was a big place. Massive big bungalow, big garage. He had his own business.
Yeah.
Something stone blasting or
Oh,
paint.
yeah.
I don't know. And she was a hairdresser. So they obviously had a few bob.
Yeah.
And they had all the dogs. They showed us.
Yeah.
They showed us the dogs were all in kennels. And when I say a kennel, I don't mean a wooden kennel. I mean a brick built. The kennels they had were as good, if not better, than when you take your dog to kennels. So they had quite a few dogs. And they showed us round, but the dogs didn't. They did spend a lot of time in, but they also used to come in the house.
So they were breeders?
They did they
No?
bred dogs, but they didn't breed pedigrees. They
All right.
only ever bred like a lurchery types.
To sell?
Yeah.
To sell?
They kept some and they did sell them
Oh, right.
as well.
Okay.
They did sort of sell, but
Okay.
they weren't. That's not where they made. They didn't
No,
make
no,
money
no, no.
from it.
It's
It
more
was a
hobby.
sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
But so we went in.
Yeah.
We were in there for 45 minutes before we saw her.
What?
Yes, we went in because my sister sort of went to me. They said, would you like a cup of tea? We'd been chatting, then they went outside and I said to her about Basil, showing pictures of my dog, and they were talking. And my sister said, are we going to see this dog? And I went, shh. And they went off, made us a cup of tea and biscuits. They went and got one of the other dogs and showed us that. Then they took us outside. Then they brought her in and she was all over us.
Really?
I was vetted. She was 300 quid, seriously vetted. We were so vetted. And they said what I was going to do, and I said, no, she won't be a working dog. She will live in the house like my Basil did. Because
Wow.
my Basil slept on the bed. Will you let her sleep on the bed? Yes, if she's good. Okay.
Wow.
Anyway, she was 300 quid. They gave us, obviously I passed, didn't I? They gave me a sack of food for her. She had a collar on. They gave me her blanket. They said, if you don't want her, we don't want you passing her on to anyone. We'll have her back and give you back the money.
No.
Really. And they said, she's got a microchip, but we're not going to do anything about that until you've had her and you're sure you want her.
Yeah.
So we took her, we paid for her and we got her and we went home. So they said, let us know. So I phoned them that night and said how she'd been in the car. And then the next day, so I spoke to them a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then I said, yeah, she's not too bad. And basically I phoned them up and I said, I know you said give it a month and see, but I said, I won't be parting with her. I said, and I certainly won't pass her on. I said, she's now my dog. I
Wow.
said, if she has problems, that's it. So they were quite happy. So anyway, they changed her microchip thing in her ear.
Yeah.
So then I had to phone up and say, this lady's now said, so now it's mine, she's mine.
Yeah.
And they actually, we kept in contact because I'd send them pictures of her.
Yeah.
And they was up this way.
Lovely.
A few years back now because she's 8 now.
Oh, yeah.
So they phoned up one day or messaged and said, we're in near where you are. Would it be okay to come and see her?
No.
I said, yeah. So they did. They came to see us. And they came.
How many
in.
years after
Oh,
adopting?
probably it was a year after I'd
Okay,
had her.
yeah.
Probably about a year.
Yeah.
So they came in and she made a fuss of them. And they said, is she like this with everyone? I said, she's friendly with everyone. But I said, she knows who you are. I said, she remembered you.
Do you think she remembered her?
Yeah, I think she did, because she kept looking at him. It was him that would have taken her across the fields and done more probably with her.
Wow.
And she was looking at him more. And it was really quite funny. But when they sat there, had a cup of tea and a biscuit, we chatted and all the rest of it. And I think they were thrilled to see that she was, happy.
How much can somebody care about dogs? They really cared about.
They were.
Almost like a child.
Yeah,
Almost.
because they didn't want, they'd had her for 15 months and it's like they didn't want her to go somewhere.
For example, to a campsite or
because the gypsies don't look after their dogs.
They don't. What? And they would love a dog like that because why?
They go across the fields. They want lurchers for chasing rabbits. And also, if she hadn't been spayed, they'd have bred from her.
But what do they do with the rabbits, these gypsies, do you think?
No idea. I don't know whether they cook them or... Because,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people... I mean, one of the things people do with lurchers is they do the hare coursing where they find where there's a hare and they set 2 hares.
Yeah, but these aren't gypsies.
Well, lots of people do that. That's a sort of...
Hunting thing.
Yeah, it's a country pursuit, they call it.
Yeah,
Don't they? It's
that's
not...
of gentlemen
Yeah,
back in the day,
it's like
wasn't it?
chasing foxes. It's like...
Yeah,
to
fox
me,
hunting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's barbaric. I mean, I can't... I mean, the thing is with that, the fox hunting, they actually dig out the things and block their holes so they can't go back in. And
Reminds me of horse racing, which I don't like
well,
either.
I don't like that either, no.
Yeah.
Or greyhound racing.
No.
I mean, I like greyhound, the dogs, but the greyhound racing, when the dogs aren't fit to, they're not looked after very well. When they're making
No?
money, oh yeah, you look, and so many old greyhounds get put down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's they're not really, and they're always in kennels, and they don't ever get to sleep on the floor in a nice bit of carpet. You know, they're a sort of money maker. It's like the racehorses. You get racehorses. You want to be her best friend.
I think she's lovely. I think she's got this... I don't know why I said sheep.
Oh.
What was it about? Because clearly that's not a sheep. It's
No.
something about the fur, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's just fluffy hair.
And it's something about...
That's some of her, this is what she eats for dinner. Give her a few bits of dinner. And then she'll love you even more. She's definitely taken you. Have
You
you got
think?
dogs?
No, not at all.
No, she just was...
You feel that, yeah?
Yeah. Well, like I say,
Some
sometimes-
dogs have a sense, don't they? You
I
know.
think she just looked at you and thought you might have something to eat. I'll go over and say hello to that
Yeah.
nice man.
Well, look, you know,
Now, if you look what she's doing, she's actually in your shade. She's sat in your shade.
in my shadow
Yeah, in your shadow.
to
the
keep
shade.
to keep
cool. Yeah.
keep cool. Very wise.
Yeah, but no, she's like I said, I've had various dogs over the years. Because my other one, I can show you him, Basil,
Yeah.
because he's on my phone. The sun being out is a bloody job to see anything. But, hang on, I'll show you. Hang on. But yeah, she's a dear little girl. Now
She's
that's
lovely.
Basil. Can you sort of make him out?
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
I can.
And I mean,
What kind of breed is that?
He's the same as her. He was the same
No.
as her, Bedlington Whippet. But he favoured the Whippet more than she does. And he had straight hair and it grew long because the Bedlington... Because if you look at her head, it's more curly. And that is more... Bedlington is more curly. And then as you get down her back, it's straighter. But she has
Yeah.
been trimmed. But if I don't cut it, it just goes longer and sticks out.
Does
And
it-
She looks like very cuddly.
And what happens here if you don't cut it?
Well, just sort of keep growing. It'll only get so long, but it also gets matted, and she doesn't like it, so I trim it.
Well, you've had the breed before, haven't you? So
yeah,
you know.
because I had Basil, but I never had to trim him because
Why
his
not?
hair grew long, and
it's
it never
straight.
matted. It was straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it never grew round his eyes. Hers does.
Ah.
It grows round her eyes, and she wouldn't be able to see where she's going.
Does she mind the paws being straight?
No, she won't mind. She won't bother. She's a
Lovely.
good girl. And
She's
she-
lovely.
She's
absolutely
very
lovely.
good with everybody. I've got 2 grandsons.
Yeah.
One's 9, one's 5. So
Good
I
with
had,
those?
Yeah, I had her before we had obviously the 5-year-old, so she's older than him. And but my daughter's got 2 dogs. So Ray, the 9-year-old, was fine with her. Because like when you get a dog, because like I bought her home, she was 15 months old, and it's like, how's she going to be with everyone? But yeah, she's you know, and you can see I let her off, and I put her on a lead now, and we'll carry on because I live off.
Yeah.
I live off Coventry Road, off Lovenham
Coventry
Hill.
Road, yeah.
So I've had quite a long walk, haven't we? But she's been asleep. She sleeps most of the time. She
Aw.
can sleep for England, but that's the Whippet because they run quick. Are you all done? Shall we put your lead back on? Yeah. I mean, you can see. Look, she's got nothing on. Look.
Do you have
No
to put a
collar.
lead on her?
Do I have to?
Yeah, I mean, by that, do you have to by law?
Oh well, by law, all dogs should have a collar with their name on and their address. I mean, she actually, as you can see, hasn't got anything on her at the moment.
But what's the law with leads? Do you know?
Well, you are supposed. If it says dogs must be on leads, you should have them on a lead or under control.
That's if there's a
You
sign
ca-
up.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, my daughter actually can walk along with her dogs without a lead because
Right.
they're that well behaved. But theoretically, you should have a dog on a lead where there's the main road and where, because I mean, so many of these very big dogs
Yeah.
are a bit scary. I mean,
Right.
I've had dogs and we had a German Shepherd and a Briard was 6.5 stone. So I've
Yeah.
had big dogs, but some of these bully type dogs,
Oh, XL Bully?
yeah, they scare me. Some of them do.
Why? What's scary about them?
Well, potentially because the size of them
Yeah.
and the fact that what they really have been bred for.
Fighting?
Yeah.
Dog fighting?
Yeah, but basically they're a sort of a dog that can be very aggressive,
Mm.
and unless, well, it's like we had a German Shepherd, and I mean, you've got a German Shepherd, it's a very intelligent dog,
Yeah.
which we found out, and they can also be aggressive, and if you don't train, if you don't train a dog to be, or you don't train it properly, it's not good. I mean, a lot of people, it's like children. I mean, at the end of the day, some people shouldn't be allowed to have kids.
With the XL Bully, I think they're the dangerous dogs now.
Yeah,
come
they
under the
are.
dangerous.
You're not allowed to breed from them.
Because there was an
and
exemption
have to be
period
muzzles,
earlier in the year, but that's gone now.
Yeah.
So you're
They've
not
gotta
allowed to.
You're not allowed to
muzzles.
breed them. You're not allowed to sell them.
Right.
I think they've got to be at their bits. You're not allowed to
taken
breed
off,
them.
yeah.
And I think when you're out, they've always got to be on leads and muzzled. I believe that's the
What
case.
is your opinion on the English Bull Terrier? Do you have a gut instinct on that?
The
Or
bull terrier, the bulldog type thing?
the
Well,
English Bull Terrier, with a funny nose. That
you mean the pointy one?
yeah.
Yeah, like a yeah.
Like a-
well,
you know what I mean,
They're
like a
very
bull-
stocky and
Yeah.
solid, and I think they're quite quirky.
Quirky is the word.
Yeah, quirky's the word. I think they're lovely with people. They can be apparently a bit arsey with other dogs, but
Right.
I don't think they are classic. I wouldn't class them as a dangerous dog,
No.
because though I think they were bred for that sort of thing
Right.
years back, I think it's sort of not there anymore in
Anymore.
the same sense.
Yeah.
And they aren't, although they're a biggish build,
Yeah.
they're nothing like as tall.
Tall
You
as
know,
what?
yeah, no, they don't seem to be
Right,
massively,
okay,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
the XL bullies that can be about 14 stone.
Really?
Oh,
14
yes.
stone?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can be. It's big. Yeah, some of them really big dogs can be big. Could be more than what you weigh.
I doubt
mean,
that.
seriously.
14 stone.
I mean, my friends have got an Irish Wolfhound. Have you
Yeah.
ever seen one of them? And they
haven't
really
actually.
are about that big.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I mean, my friends, they're only as big as me.
I've seen a Great Dane
And he's got a head
before.
like that. Yeah. Well, Great Dane, Irish Wolfhound's very big, similar.
Yeah.
If you imagine a Great Dane with shaggy hair,
Yeah.
very shaggy hair,
Yeah.
tend to be similar colouring to her.
Ah.
But they tend to be, I mean, the Irish Wolfhound and the Scottish Deerhound,
Yeah.
very similar to look at. The Scottish Deerhound's got more of a slender face
Oh, right.
and not quite so solid.
Yeah.
But they only live to be about 8 or 9, but they tend to be non-aggressive in as much as,
Yeah.
whereas some of the XL bullies and the sort of the dogs that like the people
Fighting
that-
dogs.
yeah, and the people that want to walk around.
Yeah,
with a
yeah,
bit
posing,
tough,
posing,
posing
yeah.
with this dog, look,
Yeah.
and it's got a collar with studs all
Studs,
over
yeah.
it and chains, and it's like, yeah, you're trying to intimidate, but dogs like that are a bit iffy, and
Iffy in what way though?
well, in as much as unpredictable, and the fact that people are having them for the wrong reason.
Yes.
It's not a family
Yeah,
pet
I wouldn't have
sometimes.
a dog because I can't really take care of it. Give it what it's due, and so
I mean,
I'd walk a dog. Sometimes I look after a neighbour's dog.
Mm.
If they're going on holiday, I'd do
Yeah,
that,
right.
but I'm not going to have one on myself.
No, but I'm retired now. So,
Yeah,
So
well, I
I mean,
got-
she's got me all the time. But I mean, I've had dogs when I worked, but then
Yeah.
I used to go home at lunchtime. So I used to get up, take him
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
go home, and then take him out, and
Yeah.
it was always a bit of a rush. I
Yeah.
mean, dogs are okay if you work, as long as you don't go out and leave them, and you do things with them. And the other thing is, like my daughter's got a border collie.
Oh right.
She had one before. He passed away last year.
Yeah,
She's got
yeah,
another, and
yeah.
she's also got the lab. And I will have them
Wow.
the end of next month. I'm minding. So
Great,
next
yeah.
month I'll have 3 dogs
Jeez.
for a week.
Wow.
But her dog, she runs, and her dog runs with her.
Right.
My daughter
Okay.
does, and that's what she got the border collie for. Now, border collies is a
Ah.
working dog, terribly intelligent.
Are they?
Oh yeah, yeah. They want to be doing something. So it's
Yeah.
not the dog to have that just sits there all day.
No. There are
And-
dogs like that.
Yeah, there are
There's
dogs that
another
will. She'll sit about. She has literally. We got up this morning. I took her to the top of the hill
Yeah.
and back. Then so she'd weed and poo and all the
Yeah.
rest of it. She's in the house. I've got a garden. Then I had to go to Kettering. Took my brother-in-law
Oh, yeah.
injection in his eye.
Oh, God.
Nice. Came back, did a bit of shopping. Came back home. I was back home by 12:30. Open the door, she goes out there, she comes back in, and then she's been laying either on the settee downstairs or upstairs on my bed. She's been asleep more than she's been awake.
God.
Yeah, and then we've come out, but I mean, I don't know if you saw us, but she did run. She ran for the ball a bit.
Yeah.
And then when we go back, she'll be flaked out again. Well, she won't because she'll want her dinner. But as you can see, she's very late. And she is now, she was 8 the other week.
Yeah.
So she's what they call senior now.
Senior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she can run when she wants to, and she'll run around with Ron because he's only just over a year.
Who's Ron?
But he's big. Ron's my daughter's young dog. And
See,
she's got him here, run round and jump. And I mean, I used to go to agility with her when I first got her.
Do what?
Agility. Have you ever seen agility? No. Well, basically with agility, what you do, you have like a course.
Right, well, for
you know,
dogs? With
for
other
dogs.
people training? Oh, right,
yeah, so you compete against each other. They do it
of
across.
course.
And she used to go
You did
up.
that with this dog?
Yeah, I did it with her.
God.
Yeah, she was very good at the weave.
Yeah.
You know, weaving, and she'd go up like a raised bit and walk along it. She didn't like the seesaw.
No.
Because when they go on the seesaw, as they go on it and you get to the middle point and it bangs down, she didn't like that, and she's not very heavy. So it took a bit for her to set it down.
Yeah.
Go through the hoop,
Yeah.
go through the tunnel, she'd go through that.
Because it's like being in the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like being, and some won't even go in.
Oh, right.
But she did that well. She was quite good.
Right. I'm going to be walking that way. Are you going to walk up that way?
I'll walk that way because
Right.
I'm going back home. But,
All right.
Very nice to meet you.
Oh, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, Susan.
Yeah, Susan Carl. Nice
Carl,
to meet you.
nice to meet you, Carl.
Well, thank
And
you.
Suki wanted to meet you. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you again.
Yeah.
You take care.
Bye,
Have
Susan.
a nice weekend.
And you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, that is an example of talking for England and listening for England. So there you go. So the JC Audits, that's a nice long one for you. Lots about dogs on this one. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope it sent you to sleep if you're sleeping. If not, then fully understand. Yeah, so that's it. And from Market Harborough, this is JC signing out.